أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We continue our theme for this Ramadan, دروس عميقة من السيرة النبوية, profound lessons from the life of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Each night, an incident, a reflection, a snapshot from the illustrious life of our beloved Prophet, a snapshot that could provide a learning moment which could enhance our appreciation of our Prophet and also provide an exemplary lesson for our personal lives to improve ourselves as individuals. As we noted in our last presentation, that at times the Prophets, peace be upon them, experienced trials directly themselves, and all of them endured trials and tribulations. But at other times, they were pained by witnessing how their loved ones or their followers were being persecuted. And sometimes that was more painful for them. Or they were pained at the fact that their loved ones had to witness their humiliation or their insult or their hurt. It must be remembered that just because a person is religious or righteous, it does not mean that there will not be a challenge or test for them. Life is a test, as we said, and the Prophet ﷺ said in the Sunan of Ibn Majah documented, أَشَدُّ النَّاسِ بَلَاءُ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ ثُمَّ الصَّالِحُونَ. Those who experience the most severe tests in life are the prophets and then the righteous. Among the profound lessons we learn from the life of the Prophet of how loved ones may have suffered directly the persecution or loved ones felt hurt by the persecution of the Prophet. Among the profound lessons we learn is how he witnessed the helpless torture of the first family to embrace Islam. And we're talking of the family of Ammar bin Yasir and his parents, who were put into suits of armor of iron and left in the burning sun because they embraced Islam. And the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and his followers were helpless few people. And Islam was not yet made public. The Prophet witnessed them being burnt and tortured in public because of their faith. And the Prophet went to console Ammar and his parents, Yasir and Sumayya, and he said, Sabr ala Yasin, fa inna maw'idakum al-jannah. Be patient, O family of Yasir, for surely paradise is your destination. That young Ammar whispered to the Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, لَقَدْ بَلَغَ مِنَّا الْعَذَابِ كُلَّ مَبْلَغٍ. O Prophet, the severity of the torture has reached its limit. In other words, we cannot take this anymore. And the Prophet stroked the little Ammar's head and tearfully he said, Ya nar, kuni barda wa salaman ala Ammar, kama kunti barda wa salaman ala Ibrahim. O heat of the fire, of the sun, O heat, be cool and peaceful to Ammar as you were peaceful and cool to Ibrahim when he was thrown in the fire. You see, the Prophet ﷺ, despite the helpless situation, he never made Ammar feel hopeless. Though eventually Ammar's mother, Sumayya, was the first person to be martyred in Islam. I always remind people, the first person to embrace Islam was Khadija, was a woman. The first person to die for Islam was a woman. And the most loved of all people to the Prophet was Fatima, his daughter, was a woman. So remember this. And here, this Ammar whom he consoled, eventually grew up. And he fought and defended with the Prophet ﷺ, preached Islam. He fought in the battle of Badr, of Uhud, the expedition of Tabuk, at Ahzab. Not only that, he was one of those who migrated from Mecca to Ethiopia and then again migrated to Medina. He migrated twice for the sake of the deen to avoid persecution. And later in life, he became the governor of Kufa under Khalif Umar radiallahu anhu. And later on, at the age of 90, he died in the battle of Siffin on the side of Sayyidina Ali. This was the same Ammar whom the Prophet encouraged and consoled in the darkest period of Muslim persecution. Among the people most loved by the Prophet, I said, was his daughter Fatima, of whom he lovingly said, as documented in the Sahih of Imam Muslim, Fatima bid'atu minni, yu'dhini man adaha. Fatima is part of me. Whoever harms or hurts her has harmed or hurt me. Early in the prophetic period, Fatima was approximately 4 or 5 years old, and she was praying next to her father at the Kaaba. When Abu Jahl, Utbah, Utayba, and Shayba, all of these were opponents of the Prophet, and all of them died in the first battle against Islam. Abu Jahl, Utbah, Utayba, and Shayba, they threw dirt on the Prophet when he was praying in order to humiliate him. She was very distraught at the way these senior people, the senior people of Quraysh, were treating her father as she tried to clean the dirt of the Prophet. Can you imagine a 4 or 5-year-old girl witnessing this? And she said, Ya abati, illam tu'minu bik, amantu bik. Oh my father, if they don't believe in you, I believe in you. The Prophet wiped away her tears and said, La tabki ibnati, fallah yahfad abuk. Don't cry, my daughter. Allah will protect your father. You see, despite the disheartening, negative situation of humiliation virtually, which the Prophet experienced, yet the Prophet gave her some form of hope, a positive hope. He provided her an encouraging response to soothe the emotional pain she felt at witnessing him being insulted. If we reflect upon all of these, may we truly appreciate the selfless sacrifices of all the prophets. And here in this case of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the sacrifice of those around him at that time for the deen that we today claim to follow. May Allah grant us an appreciation of all of them. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Islamic City will continue its mission to cultivate peace, inspire action, explore positive solutions, and encourage purposeful living through the universal teachings of Islam. Please donate now.